Tracking down some of the folks that did well in the last two races as ISMA and MSS visited New England. Claremont Motorsports Park and Lee US Speedway were the last two places that the series run. And the guy that I've got on the phone with me right now, he won the first race at Claremont and then almost won the second one. So it was quite a weekend for Jon McKennedy. He's run about 15 races this year. He is more known as an asphalt modified racer. He actually won the NASCAR Whelen Modified Championship back in 2022. So let's head up to Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Jon McKennedy is working on a Supermodified that he'll be racing weekend after next. John, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Just getting race cars already. Got a busy week coming up next week.
Very nice. So he'll be working, not racing this weekend, by the way, so he'll have lots of time to get things done. Let's start with Claremont. New track record set by Tyler Schulich. I read about this one. Mo Liljay seemed to have control of this thing. Mark Samet had it going on, but somehow you were able to get by him late. How did things go at Claremont?
Yeah, Claremont was definitely a tough race. Mark Samet gave me a good run there at the end. Schulich and I were pretty much the two fastest cars. I felt like most of the day. You know, he time trialed fast time. Set on the pole, we were just behind him by about a half a tenth per second. And, the first half of the race, him and I feel like kind of just checked out. He was leading, and I was able to get by him eventually, probably around like lap 40. He kind of had a little issue with some lap traffic there, and I was able to sneak under him. And, my car was really good for most of that race. And then we had a late restart there at the end of the race, and my car got really, really loose, which was kind of surprising where it was so solid for most of the race. So that definitely caught me off guard a little bit. But, Samet was able to restart next to me there on the restart, and he did a good job. He was able to drive around me, and I'll tell you, I had to work really hard to try to get back by him. I mean, the next 10, 15 laps, I was giving it my all, and, ultimately I think my little bit of track experience there and just all the years of racing there on and off with different cars helped me a little bit, and I could see Mark was kind of missing the bottom entering turn 3 and 4, and ultimately that kind of gave me the run to get by him, down the front straightaway into turn 1 with about 6 laps to go. So it was definitely a tough race for sure. He ran good there at the end as my car started to fade a little bit, and luckily we were able to get the win.
Lap 69 was made the inside move in turn 1 to get the lead. You said he was, how did you phrase it, missing his turn, missing his mark? What did you notice that he was doing in turn 3?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe just his car wouldn't allow him to get down there, but it just seemed like he was entering turns 3 and 4 awfully high, and, I was just able to run pretty much a whole groove or a groove and a half lower. In a track like that, typically the lower side is the faster way around, and that was certainly where I was making up all my time was through turns 3 and 4. So I don't know if he just got excessively tight or I'm not really sure what the deal was. I mean, he knows maybe his car just felt better for him up there, but I just know typically at Claremont, turns 3 and 4, the bottom is the preferred line, and typically when you go up a groove or two, you slow right down. So luckily it kind of all worked out though for me, and we're able to sneak and get that win.
Earlier in the day, Tyler Schulich set a new track record. You mentioned your experience there. Have you won in a lot of other different forms of racing there, or supers?
Yeah, I've won several modified races there over the years. My latest ones there just 2 years ago, we won an ISMA race there. With the Supermodifieds, and 2 years ago I actually won a NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour event there as well. So definitely a track. I've got a half a dozen wins or so the last handful of years, and it's just kind of one of those small tracks, a lot of brakes, tight corners, and I don't know, it kind of fits my driving style, I guess you could say. I kind of like the small little tracks, and It's definitely a technical track, and with experience there and laps, it's definitely a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, when they're running 11.8 laps, it's a fast, short track right there. How did we end up in the Jon McKennedy 79?
Yeah, so basically that's the car that I ran the last handful of years, going back with the Lee vinyl number 21, and then Tim Lepine purchased the car. I drove it for him for a couple of years. That was the Middlesex Interiors, number 79, a car we've had a ton of success with. Actually, going into Claremont just a few weeks ago, that car, I believe, won 12 ISMA races in a row, going back from 2019. So, yeah, it's, you don't really hear much about it, but the car has won a ton of races the last few years. It's been a really good car, and basically the team I was driving for last year sold everything, the Philippines, and the coacher bought the car for Otto to run, and they had ran it a few times earlier in the season, and I think Otto was busy with the whole Oswego deal, and he already had the Bodner car that he was running with the wing stuff, so he definitely, he had a busy plate for sure, and Otto and John kind of just talked, and they thought, hell, let's let John run the car again, and pick and choose races, whatever he wants to do, and so kind of, yeah, it was all by surprise. It all worked out, and, I'm thankful John and Otto were, had me in mind to let me run my old car, a car, again, that just had a ton of success with over the years, a car that Brian Allegresso had redone for me a handful of years ago, and, I mean, arguably probably the best Supermodified in a decade, really. If you look at the stats, the car is just really, really good. It's something pretty special for sure.
Yeah, and it was special the next night, too. Lee USA Speedway is where they went the next night. You were in second, fell back to third, made a late race charge, ended up in second. I talked with the winner, Tyler Schulich, and he talked about how much he was saving tires. Were you in the same boat, basically?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Again, Lee, the track, I raced a whole bunch over the years, and I know how the track is, very abrasive, wore out. I mean, you have over a second drop-off typically there throughout the race, so it's probably the most out of any track we run on. We had a decent draw. I think I started seventh. Schulich, I believe, started third. And I don't know, I want to say around like lap 15, I think I was up to third behind him, and we were basically running second and third for, I felt like, I don't know, maybe almost half the race, and Mo Legier was in the lead, checked out, gone. I mean, I couldn't even see him.
Really?
I want to say he was a half a track ahead, and so I kept telling myself, to be patient and try to save it for the end, but at the same time, with not a huge car count, and typically looking back over the years of history at Lee, you tend to get long green flag runs, no yellows, so I thought around like lap 30 or so it was kind of time to go, and it was funny, just as I started to go, I had got underneath Schulich for second, and for about 4 laps he had raced me very hard. He didn't want me by, that was very clear, and talking after the race, we were kind of joking about it too. So for those 3 or 4 laps I was underneath him, I was driving pretty hard at that point to try to get by him, and I actually elected to let him back by after those few laps of battling, just because I felt like I was using way too much tire way too early in the race. So ultimately I let him back by after a couple laps of some side-by-side racing, and looking back, when the whole race played out, I kind of regret doing that. The track position seemed pretty important, and the cars are just so aero-sensitive nowadays with these wings, and the next 20, 30 laps, I was within a car length of them pretty much right to the end. I could not get back by him. As soon as I'd get in that wake of air, my car was slipping and sliding a little bit, and so yeah, looking back, when I had the opportunity to go by him, I certainly I wish I did. I feel like my car was good enough; it might have been difficult for him to get back by me, but overall, he did a really good job. It's a brand new Bodner car. Obviously Bodner and them guys build a hell of a car. A lot of respect for all those guys out in that Ohio area, and it was cool to see him get his first win.
Very, very quickly. We are out of time. I can't believe it, John, that it went by this fast. I appreciate you spending some time with us today. John, good luck on your next events, and hopefully we'll get a chance to chat one more time before the season's over. I really appreciate your time today. I know you're super busy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll talk soon.
And again, make sure to hit the likes, turn on the notifications, and look for the stuff right here on the ISMA website.